Okay, I get a lot of questions of how's that mini skid steer holding up. Well, you saw 153 hours. Those are really hard hours. I've really pushed this machine. Many different projects that we've done. Maybe we'll show a couple of clips of things that we've done with it. But basically, these I bought last year, I believe, probably around this time. So I probably had it for 1 year, and I actually bought one previous to this from the auction. And it was just too wide. I talked about it in the video. People don't like that I bought it still, even though I knew what I was getting into, that I logged in and saw that it had just seconds left, and I put a bid in and I won it. Didn't know anything about the machine. Picked it up, it was 42 inches. I really need like a 36-inch less machine to get into backyards without having to pull out fence posts and all that. So then the next auction came around, and this one was for sale. And this one is 32 inches. So it's perfect, absolutely perfect for getting into tight access situations. That's where we're using it. So 150 hours after 1 year, that's probably been on like 10 jobs. But those 10 jobs have been really crucial for a narrow machine like this. So first things first, problems with the machine. The difficulty starting was one of those problems. I think I've fixed that now by putting in a fuel pump. Replacing the fuel pump on this, because people say online that this is a bad one and that might be causing my engine to not start. I've already replaced the spark plugs. I've tried to unclog something. Don't know what that part was, but it wasn't clogged. It didn't look clogged. Maybe if we replace this fuel pump with this one, apparently maybe a better one, we might be able to start this thing. And if not, I'm kind of out of options here. And we'll have to call somebody to see if they can take care of it. As I said it before, I'm not good at this whole mechanic side of things. Okay, I think I can try to start this without having to put the shield on. So let's give it a go and see what happens. On this. So when you get one of these, if you do get one of these from the auction, first thing is change out that oil. People do recommend changing out the hydraulic oil. I haven't done that. I did run a magnet at the bottom to see if there's any metal shavings, filings, things like that. There wasn't. So I just kept the hydraulic oil. Eventually, actually probably soon, I'll just switch out that hydraulic oil. Probably better to do. Next thing would be replacing the battery, I would do a fuel pump right away just so you don't run into those starting issues. And then one of the users in one of those Facebook groups mentioned that the vacuum pump, that gets clogged with white goo. And I did test that. I did try to do that first and start the machine, and that wasn't it. There wasn't any white goo substance in there, so obviously that wasn't the issue. So just by process of elimination, I've narrowed it down to must be that fuel pump, and I went ahead and replaced that, and now it's starting. So 1 year in, nothing bad to say about this machine just yet, other than it does require a little bit of work once you first purchase it. So just know that when you're getting into it. But I bought this, I think it was $3,750 Canadian, plus closing fee. It probably came to about $4,200. And now I'm actually gonna buy another one of these and have it at another location, because I do work over a 1 hour area. And for me to have, say, 2 spaces that I can have a machine and not have to drive 1 hour one way, pick up the machine, drive 1 hour back, the fact that I can have 2 machines and still be way under what a brand new machine would be in terms of cost, that just makes a whole lot of sense to me. Now, lifting capacity is not great. It says about 500 pounds. That's one downside, but that's the trade-off between having a 32-inch machine that has a smaller lift capacity as opposed to having a larger machine with a larger lift capacity. So eventually I'll have to upgrade one of those probably and have something that can lift full bundles of pavers. I do hardscape, so paver patios, retaining walls, things like that. That would be really useful and definitely something that's nice to have, because this only lifts about 2 layers, not even 2 layers of pavers, and that's not a whole lot. There's usually 11 layers on a bundle, 10 layers, so that's a whole lot of trips to have to do that. And I don't have dedicated fork attachments for this thing just yet, and so I have these clip-on forks that are pretty cheap that clip onto the bucket and extend that lift capacity out, so the center of gravity is much worse, so it's not going to lift as much with that. So if I had fork attachment, that's going to bring the pallet closer to the machine, so I'll probably be able to lift a few layers, 3 or 4 layers maybe. Other things I've seen people do is actually put counterweights on the back. That might be something that I look at in the future. Not something that I'm going to try to tackle during the season. That's probably an off-season thing I tried to do, but that would also help. The other thing that I'm having an issue with right now is this is kind of seized, the throttle. So I'm gonna get something to replace this. Currently I can get it up just a little bit. It is seized and I can sort of force it back down. Maybe some WD-40 can get into that crevice and fix that for me, but we will see. Like I said, that's an issue. I did lose this in the fact that this was kind of wedged in here over the winter, with this coming, the arm coming all the way down on that, so this is deformed, but that's fine. We will put a clamp on this somewhere to make sure it's not gonna lift up on us when we're driving somewhere with it, but I want to get these replaced now, and I'm going to do that. Additionally, next thing would be to get new tracks, and even though that these are still only have 150 hours on them and I don't see any major signs of wear on them, I have heard that the tracks are not the greatest, so it'd be nice to just have some tracks on hand just if and when these do actually break on me. So that's the goal for that. So tracks, fuel pump, new battery, exchanged out the fluids, oil and hydraulic, and yeah, you should be good to go. And spark plugs, I did replace those to NGK spark plugs. I will put a link in the description if you want to check out those, and also links in the description for a fuel pump to replace that. This fuel tank reservoir thing, it actually bolts up here. You can see this bolt and this bolt, but what that does is you can't get access then to the oil dipstick, and that is a problem to be able to check your oil. As you can see, I just have enough room now to be able to pull that out, but when you first get it, this is actually higher. That arm extends down into the fuel pump and you can't actually get it out, so that is something that you'll have to play around with too. So now I just lowered it. It's only in that one hole. It is a little bit loose. I'll tighten this just a bit because I did have to play with that a bit, but that's something that you'll have to do as well. Now, one of the main reasons why I needed this to start, not to mention that I need to use it, is the shield sheared off and I actually can't get that out. So now that it's started, I can lift it up, get that out. I'm gonna get some new hinges, put those in.